Okay, I got my water. Let's address a couple things before I get started. This hair, let's not talk about it. I don't know what's happening either. I have a pimple, I'm breaking out, my skin is not the greatest, but today I'm going to teach you how I do my flawless foundation routine. And I just want to preface this by saying this is what works for my skin. It may not work for your skin. I have combo oily skin, so like right here in my T-zone, I just get very, very oily. I was for a long time wearing a super thick, super heavy foundation, and then after I had my second child, that affected my skin like a lot. And the heavy foundation just didn't look good anymore, so I had to switch my routine and switch what I was doing to a BB cream. So that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we're going to do today. And let's just get started. So a lot of people use a primer. I was using a primer. I was using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and I really liked it. But with my new BB cream, I find that it's already so light, and it just blends so well into the skin that I don't even really need one. So I start out with my BB cream. This is the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB Cream for oily skin. I have medium, and it's actually a tad bit too dark for me. It oxidizes, so it looks a little crazy at first, but I use a lot of powder, and it really does kind of make it match just a little bit better with my skin. And I take a wet beauty blender. This one is the EcoTools, the same brand I talked about in my last video. I really like it. It has a smaller angled side here and a bigger angled side here that I use for my foundation, and I just put that all over. Make sure I get my pimple. And I'm not doing any eyeshadow today because this is just all about foundation. So go all over the skin, and I make sure I get my neck and just a little bit of my ears to kind of blend it into. So as you can see, this is like obviously way too dark for me right now. When I got this, I had a tan, so it did look a lot better. But this is such a light and such a good coverage formula for a BB cream. It's so good for summer if you just want something you can throw on and go with a little bit of powder. It's amazing. It's changed my makeup game. And I get a lot of questions like, I have this type of skin, what should I be using? Or I have this type of skin, what do you recommend? And honestly, I really recommend going to see an esthetician or a beauty professional and having them look at your skin and tell you what type of skin you have, because part of having a flawless foundation is taking care of your skin, having a really good skincare regimen. I like to exfoliate and moisturize, and that's all I really need. For exfoliator, I like to use the Mario Badescu Botanical Scrub. I just use it mostly on my T-zone is where I focus it, but I do, you know, obviously my whole face. And for moisturizer, I like to use brand Purity Daily Moisturizer is what I like to use. Super light, you don't need a lot. It's a little expensive, but it comes in a big bottle, and it does usually last me a fairly long time, which I like too. Now that I have my foundation all blended out, what I like to do is my concealer next. I use the Kylie Cosmetics concealer. This one is in Shell. I don't know, it's pretty light, but I like a lot of highlight, and I drag it down, not on the bridge of my nose, like not right here, but just a little below. I can blend it a little bit better upwards. Same on the other side. And a little bit of this stuff goes a long way. It's very thick. If you're looking for something a little cheaper that's like comparable to this, I do recommend the Makeup Revolution. I want to say it's like $8. I get it at Ulta. The Makeup Revolution is also comparable to like a Tarte Shape Tape concealer. And a little bit on my forehead. like Avatar style. Right here on my Cupid's bow, and just a little on my chin. I say just a little, that's quite a bit. And then taking, like I said, the smaller angled side of my brush here. First, I don't like tap like crazy when I'm doing my concealer. I tap one general spot where the majority of it is, and then I tap around to get it, because I like a good bright highlight. So to get it so that it's bright but also blended, tap in one spot, get that how you want it, and then tap around to blend. And then if it's a little too much, flip your brush over and use the foundation side. So it gets a little bit more blended. Tap in one spot, then around. This one's a little tricky because it's shaped funny. My beauty blender isn't as wet as I'd like it to be, but that's fine. We're working with it and we're going with it. And part of, like, if you're like me and you have oily skin, powder is gonna be literally your best friend. Powder is amazing. Powder will set it. Powder will keep you matte if you're using the right powder. I'll talk about the powder I use here when I get done with this. Now I'm gonna take my foundation side, the bigger side, and pat around again. Then the smaller side, again, talking about, start and pat. And go up a little bit so that it gets on the bridge of your nose. Lightly, I'm not like super hard pounding my face, lightly, barely even taking it off my face, honestly, and just patting. And then go outward towards where you have your other concealer placed also. And I always start up here, get this as blended as I want it, and then go down here and blend it down. So I like to blend right below my eye first, and then down onto my cheek. And it is gonna look crazy at first. Same thing, other side. Starting where you placed it first. And I just flipped it because that was a little too harsh. So I just flipped it over to the foundation side to kind of keep it from being too much. Now that I have that all done, a really important part for me is setting everything with powder. Powder makes such a big difference in me being oily and me having like a nice matte. I don't like a lot of shine. The powder that I use is the Airspun powder. This is, I'm not sure what shade. This is the Airspun powder. I get it at, so I got the translucent extra coverage. I get this at Walmart or Ulta. I think it's actually a little cheaper at Walmart as opposed to Ulta. I use this to set my whole face. Like this stuff is amazing. And I take the smaller side, again, the same thing that I just used my concealer on. It's a little bit damp. And I put it into my powder. I put it in the lid. It does have a strong smell, so if you're sensitive to smells, just be wary of that. I like it. But I just tap this in, get it on that side, and then go under my eyes. I have really oily under eyes and really oily eyelids. And right here on my nose does not like to hold foundation well at all. So I just go right there. This is called baking. I had a lot of people that asked on my last video, what was that white stuff under your eyes? What's the purpose of that? It just really sets your concealer, keeps it nice and bright. No creasing. This is going to prevent you from creasing. If you get lines right here, you can do the same thing with the powder in your smile lines. Or if you get lines up here, same thing. Powder, powder, powder. I like to put it up here, not because I crease, but because I just want that little extra bit of highlight. I think it looks really good on my 5 head. And now I set the rest of my face on my neck using a big fluffy, not a kabuki, just a big fluffy face brush. This is from e.l.f. Professional Total Face Brush. Big and fluffy, love it. So I take this, again, airspun powder. Ignore that. Oops. Take my big fluffy brush, dab it in there, and tap off all that excess. I just want a light layer on my brush. Just like that. Actually, a little less than that. And I start at my neck, and I do circular motions. I'm not pressing super hard. Light circular motions, making sure this just sets everything in place. Same thing, just dipping right back in, tapping off the excess, and then I kind of dot it. The important thing about putting powder on your face when you have foundation on is you don't want to press super hard, because you're going to just take that foundation and move it around everywhere and make it all streaky. I'm setting everything. It's okay if you wipe away a little of your bake. That's fine. We're not going to keep it on long anyway. Most of the time I do my eyes first, but since we're just doing a foundation tutorial today, I'm not worried about it. And again, just lightly brushing, barely want to press. Just as soon as the bristles hit your face, start. I like this powder because it doesn't make a flashback. If you're taking a picture in with flash at night or anytime, it doesn't give you like a bright white shade looking thing on your face. I think they'd also have like tinted the powders. I don't particularly care for those. I just really like the translucent. There's that all set, and like it looks like my skin. CoverGirl Clean Matte BB Cream, 10 out of 10, recommend. I can't remember who told me about this or if I just picked it up. I love this. It's amazing. So light, it's gonna last me a long time because it doesn't take a lot. And if you don't have oily skin, I believe they have like a I believe they have a bunch of different kinds of those for any type of skin that you have. So I've got this all set. I'm gonna take this same brush and lightly brush away the powder that I set on my face a second ago. Now I'm gonna take this brush again, wipe up, don't wipe down, wipe up and away in the same direction that you applied the powder. See, that's such a subtle little highlight, and when you put on blush and contour and highlight and all that fun stuff, it'll look very natural. Here is that. Let me bring you guys closer so you can see what it looks like. So here it is. So I cannot express to you guys how light this BB cream is. It feels amazing. I don't feel like I'm wearing like a face full of makeup. I love it. 10 out of 10. Love it so much. Now that I've done that, what I would usually do is the rest of my face, blush, mascara, all that. Probably not gonna do that because I just don't really feel like it. I'm kind of tired today. But this is what it looks like. I hope you guys liked it. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned something. Like I said, again, this is what works for my skin, what works for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. Go speak to an esthetician or a makeup professional. Find out what kind of skincare is going to work best for you, what kind of products are going to work best for you. If you're combo oily like me, I really think this will work for you. I think this will be good for you. And that's that, folks. So I appreciate you guys. I really want to say this. I appreciate you guys so much for watching and subscribing. And you guys have been all super supportive, and I love seeing your message. I love that you guys are liking my videos so far. So thanks for watching. Bye.